Alrighty, let's just go ahead and check on the built motor. Oh. Uh-oh. Alright, now for those of you that follow me on social media, you may have noticed recently that I have been listing a bunch of the parts for my FA20 up for sale on Instagram and also on the Facebook Marketplace. And it might have made you guys question what is going on with this build. I mean, if I'm selling off the FA20 parts, what's the deal? Am I still pursuing the FA20 built motor dry sump route? Am I going a different direction with a motor swap or an LS or a 2J? So I thought it'd be about time for me to make a video explaining to you guys what is going on with this build, what is the future of this build gonna look like, why I decided to go this direction, and hopefully make you guys excited for the next chapter. Before I get too far in this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and also make sure you guys check out my sponsors that have helped make this video possible. If you're looking to make your car faster, better looking, or both at an affordable price, these people can really help you make that happen. Now, to explain the next chapter of this build, I do have to go back to the beginning of this part of the build, which was basically the changes that have taken place after I blew the motor on this car. Oh shit. So that's about January, February of 2020. And at that time, I considered all the options for what I wanted to take the build to in this next stage. So whether I wanted to LS swap it, whether I wanted to 2J swap it, or whether I wanted to go with a built motor. And those were basically the main contenders at the time. And I decided that the best route for myself was going to be to try to go with a built motor and make it reliable through the dry sump setup. And that's what I've been testing with and trying to get work over the past year. Now, a couple months into acquiring my built motor and dry sump setup and starting to piece together the car, a different swap came onto my radar which did pique my interest, and that is the Honda K-Series swap. Now, some of you guys who are familiar with this car or just pay attention to the car world may have noticed that the K-swap for this car is becoming more common. So it originally started with this one build. As far as I'm aware, there was this blue FRS or BRZ that was Rocket Bunny that originally had an RB26 and then later on swapped to K24 with the turbocharger into its car. And that didn't really gain a lot of traction because that was a one-off kind of build. But then Pure Automotive came out with their swap kit to swap a Honda K24 with a Honda S2000 transmission into the FRS and BRZ. And that's what originally caught my attention. But the problem with that swap is I would lose the CDO9 transmission that I have in my car. And also that swap is based around the stock transmission mounts, and my CDO9 swap has custom mounts. So that was just gonna be too much work and too much effort, and I already had my built motor, so I was like, the K-swap sounds cool, but I'm not gonna go that direction, I'm gonna stick with my motor. Months passed where I continued trying to problem solve and get my motor to work, and during that time, KMiata, which is a company that I'm pretty familiar with, and I think that they make very nice, high quality parts and very track-oriented parts for K-swap cars, they released information about their FA20 delete kit, which is going to K24 swap the FRS and BRZ. And that's what piqued my interest the most and made me decide that it might be time to let go of the FA20 motor. Now at this point, I want to stop and kind of explain why the K24 over the FA20, because I haven't really gone into that. And it's pretty simple. There are two main reasons. One is that the K24 makes reliable power. The K24 has existed for almost 20 years now, and it's proven itself to be a very reliable motor, not only naturally aspirated making power, but also under boost. There's also a ton of iterations of the motor, there's a bunch of different parts available for the car, and there's just a lot of testing and data done behind that motor, whereas with the FA20, there is some testing and some data, but a lot of people have given up on that motor, so there's not as much experience and knowledge out there, even close to as much as there is with the K24 motor. So the reliability aspect is very enticing. And then in addition to that, the K24 motor is lighter than the FA20. And that's a big thing when you're building one of these small, lightweight cars. Anything that you can do to shed some weight is gonna make a really big difference. And the K24 motor is around 100 pounds lighter than the FA20, give or take, because the FA20 is a boxer motor, so it's flat and it has two different sections of cylinder heads, and it just is longer and there's a lot more metal comprised in it, whereas the K24 is an inline motor, so it's smaller and lighter. And that's really enticing to me because building that smaller, lighter car is going to help me go around corners and also be faster in the straights, so just be faster everywhere on the track. And in addition to that, one also very large key component is the K24 motor, when put into the FRS BRZ's engine bay, is really small compared to the FA20. So when you're working on the motor, and I do all the work on my car myself, it's a lot easier to get around, it's a lot easier to access the parts, and that's just really enticing for people that spend a lot of time in the engine bays or under their car, is having something that's easy to work on. So all those factors made me really enticed to look into the K24 swapped and let go of the FA20 platform. Once KMiata announced their kit, and they announced that their kit was going to reuse the stock transmission, or in my situation, I could reuse my CDO9 swap because it mounts up to the stock FA20, it really enticed me to go this direction. I can keep keep my CDO9 motor, I can get the Honda K24 motor, which is reliable, creates good power, and is also cheap and just easy to work on. It's just fantastic overall. It was an offer that I really couldn't pass up. So I decided that I'm going to let go of the FA20 platform, sell that motor, sell the dry sump, sell the turbo kit, and instead go a different direction with the K24, hopefully get that running as soon as I can, and see what this car is capable of when you put Honda's K24 in it, and have the lighter, more reliable, and most likely more powerful setup. Now I know this announcement and this direction for the car may disappoint a lot of you, because a lot of you were looking forward to seeing what we can do with a reliable FA20, assuming the dry sump would make the motor more reliable. And I am sorry if a lot of people were looking forward to that setup. I was actually really looking forward to that setup too, but I think that this K24 setup is going to be much more of what I was looking for out of the car. So I hope that you guys can kind of understand why I've decided to switch this direction and go with the K24, given the fact that it's lighter, it's most likely going to provide more reliable power, and it's a cheaper car to build and a cheaper car to maintain. So I'm really excited for this next chapter of the build. I think that it's going to be able to take us way farther than the FA20 platform could have gone, and I also think that given the reasons that I've listed today, I think the K24 motor is going to be extremely common to swap into the FRS BRZ and 86, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of show people what this car is capable of with the K24 and maybe lead the march in that direction with the K24 swapped FRS BRZ or 86. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can message me on Instagram at Nairman98. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like this content and you want to see more of it. Like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.